What if the very destiny you've clung to the one that marks you as a chosen one? A soul handpicked by God for something extraordinary is the secret reason you're staring at a bank account that's more zeros than dollars. Drowning in bills that pile up like a cruel joke. And whispering to yourself in the dead of night, God, where are you? You're not ordinary, you're set apart. A vessel for divine purpose. Yet here you are, scraping by, counting coins, and wrestling with a gnawing fear that maybe you've misheard the call or worse. That it's all a lie. The truth is more shocking than you're ready for. Your financial struggles aren't some random stroke of bad luck or a petty attack from the enemy, they're woven into the fabric of your calling. A price tag most would flee from. A crucible designed to burn away everything that isn't eternal. Think of Joseph in Genesis chapter 37, betrayed by his brothers. Sold into slavery, stripped of his coat and his comfort. Yet destined to sit on a throne, his anointing didn't shield him from the pit. It plunged him into it headfirst. You're not struggling because you're forsaken, you're struggling because you're being forged. And the first truth you need to swallow is that God often drains your wallet to flood your soul. When money's tight, when every dollar's a fight, you feel it, don't you? That raw, desperate edge that keeps you awake, praying prayers you'd never utter in prosperity? It's no accident. When life's easy, when cash flows without effort, you start leaning on your own cleverness. Don't you? You trust the direct deposit more than the deliverer. And God knows that's a slippery slope for someone He's called to greatness. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 commands you to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Abundance can blind you to that. So He lets the lean times linger. Not to crush you, but to carve out space for faith that's unshakable. You've sensed it, haven't you? That eerie feeling that these hardships aren't random. That they're aimed at you like arrows? They are. Your calling's no cookie-cutter promise, it's a tailor-made fire. And the heat's meant to refine, not destroy. But there's a darker layer to this. A second revelation you can't dodge. Your empty pockets are a war zone. And the enemy's got you in his crosshairs. You're not just scraping by, you're a target. A living testament to God's power. And Satan doesn't play nice with threats like you. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 12 spells it out. This isn't about flesh and blood. It's a spiritual slugfest. And your finances are the front line. Why? Because money isn't just paper, it's time. It's influence. It's the fuel for your purpose. And if he can strangle that, he can stall you in the dirt. Ever notice the timing? You step out in faith, maybe you give that sacrificial offering. Maybe you whisper yes to that dream God planted and bam, the roof leaks, the transmission dies, or some bill you didn't see coming lands like a sucker punch. That's not fate, that's a calculated strike. The enemy wants you exhausted, chasing survival, so you forget you're called to conquer. But here's the secret he prays you'll miss. Every assault is a backhanded compliment meant to be confession he's terrified of you. And these attacks are neon signs screaming you're closer to victory than you think. David faced Goliath with a sling and 5 stones, 1 Samuel chapter 17. A laughable arsenal. Yet the giant fell because God's hand trumps any deficit. You don't need an overflowing account to win, you need faith that shatters strongholds. And these struggles are your boot camp. It's brutal, isn't it? You glance at your neighbor, maybe they don't even pry on, their life's a breeze. While you're here, rationing groceries, wondering why favor feels like famine. That's the snare. Envy saps your strength, turns your gaze from the prize. And the enemy grins when you're too busy sulking to stand. You're not them. Your path's steeper because your peak's higher. And resentment won't get you there, resolve will. Now hold on, because the third truth slices even deeper. Your financial chaos might be a mirror reflecting your obedience or the cracks where it's missing. God's not a cosmic ATM, dispensing cash when you punch in the right verse. He's a father who demands your yes align with his will. Malachi chapter 3 verse 10 throws down the gauntlet, bring the full tithe. Test him. And watch the heavens split open. Yet how often do you clutch what's yours, promising to give when you're flush? You're waiting for surplus to obey. But God's waiting for obedience to unleash surplus. It's a standoff, and you're bleeding ground every day you delay. Maybe it's not just tithing, maybe it's that job you're clinging to. The one he told you to leave. Or that spending spree you justified because you've earned it. Disobedience doesn't just pause your blessing, it beckons the storm. Jonah ran from Nineveh and got a whale's gut for his trouble. Jonah chapter 1. Your bank balance might be your whale. bellowing for you to turn back. You're chosen, sure, but that doesn't mean you skate past correction. It means the bar's higher, the stakes sharper. Here's the gut punch. The longer you dig in, the harder the squeeze tightens. God's not smiting you for kicks, He's chiseling you for glory. Because what's ahead needs a heart that's whole, not hemorrhaging through defiance. You've felt the weight, haven't you? That creeping dread that you're stuck because you've dodged the still small voice? It's not too late. Pivot now, and watch the tide turn. But there's a wild twist yet. A fourth insight that flips everything. Your scarcity is your superpower. Sounds insane. How can broke be strong? Yet 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9 shouts it. God's strength shines brightest in your weakness. And your lack's the stage for His might. When you're tapped out, when the world's done with you, that's when He moves in with jaw-dropping power. Moses split the sea with a stick and a stammer. Exodus chapter 14. Gideon routed Midian with 300 scrappy souls and some clay pots. Judges chapter 7. You don't need a fortune, you need miracles. And miracles don't bloom in plush cushions, they sprout in the dust. Your financial wilderness is forging wells of trust, prayers that rattle the skies. And that's a currency no vault can hold. You're learning to stand when the earth quakes, to cry out when your throat's raw, and that grit's your gold. The world sees your threadbare life and shrugs. God sees it and nods, plotting a redemption arc that'll blind them all. You're not bankrupt, you're being cracked wide, spilling ego and doubt so He can pour in and fill you with provision that endures. You're in the fire, chosen one, but it's not your grave, it's your womb. So where does this land you? Staring down another week of ramen and rent due, with a spirit teetering between hope and havoc? It lands you at the edge of decision. You can keep thrashing in the shadows, pointing fingers at God, the devil, or your own dumb luck, or you can step into the blaze and let it mold you. These struggles aren't your tomb, they're your anvil, your arena, your launch. Romans chapter 8 verse 28 swears it all things, even the overdraft notices, weave for your good, not your ease. The enemy's volleys, God's pruning, your frail tether threads in a masterpiece you can't yet trace. But it's breathtaking. Your calling's got a cost, and you're paying it, not because you're abandoned, but because you're adored. Joseph didn't rot in prison. David didn't cower from giants. Jesus didn't cling to the cross, and you won't fester here. Raise your head. The God who fed thousands with scraps, John chapter 6, knows your zip code. Trust Him when the cupboard's bare. Obey Him when it stabs. Stand tall when the enemy howls. Your finances flicker, but your footing's stone, and what rises from that outlasts every gale. Embrace it. The dawn's breaking faster than you see.